Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the big city of Central PA. There are a lot of things to love about Harrisburg, but there's also going to be some things that are not your favorite. And that's why today we're going to look at the pros and cons of living in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And thanks for checking out the video, guys. My name is Zach Williamson, and I'm a realtor right here in Harrisburg, PA. But before we talk about the pros and cons, I'm helping people from all over the place move in and out of the Harrisburg area. And I also just created a free guide. It's called Zach's 10 Steps to Home Ownership. And if you're interested in checking out that guide, go ahead and pause the video and text 10 steps to this number right here, and I will send it over to you immediately. I help people all over the Harrisburg area find homes they love and get them for a good deal. Guys, I absolutely love the Harrisburg area. As a guy who grew up in the middle of nowhere, with cows and my friends were farmers or their parents worked at the Musselman's or Mott's plants down in Adams County, Harrisburg is an exciting change. We have a lot of fun things going on all the time, but no place is a utopia. And so there's pros and cons of living in the best areas, even in an area like Harrisburg. My wife and I have been living in Harrisburg for years now. We're about to have our first child here. I started my real estate career here, so we're very fond of this area. So we are heavily invested in the Harrisburg area, and we really do love it here, but it's not without its faults. So first up, let's talk about the pros of living in the Harrisburg area, and there are a lot of them. First of all, we have a very convenient location here in Harrisburg relative to a lot of other big cities. We're only a couple hour drive away from Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Pittsburgh, and Washington, D.C. And as an avid sports fan, this is absolutely huge to me. I've never been to more 76ers games and Phillies games and Dolphins games playing against the Jets at MetLife Stadium than I have living here in Harrisburg. Our location here makes it really easy to go see your favorite artist or go shopping in the big city or go see a musical or really any of that fun stuff. And you're also not too far away from multiple beaches and lakes that make the summer a really good time. Personally, I love heading down to Fuller and Laurel Lake down in Pine Grove Furnace. It is a really, really good place to hang out. It's quiet, it's small, and there's beaches there. And that area is only a 30-minute drive away from Harrisburg. And if you're more of an outdoorsman, you're not really big on the big city, we're only a short drive away from the Pocono Mountains and also the Allegheny Mountains as well. And those areas are absolutely amazing. I was actually just in the Poconos hanging out at Kalahari, which has this beautiful indoor water park and hotel. It is a blast. You should absolutely check it out. And also Harrisburg also has its own airport with a lot of very inexpensive flights down to places like Florida all the time. So traveling out of Harrisburg is really easy. Trust me, flying out of Harrisburg is so much better than flying out of Philadelphia or Baltimore. Those areas are a lot more of a headache to deal with. Harrisburg's a small, easy to navigate airport. And the second pro is that Harrisburg in its own right has a ton of activities. For instance, Harrisburg is just a 10-minute, maybe even depending on where you live, a 5-minute drive from the Giant Center. The Giant Center is home to the Hershey Bears, which has the absolute best atmosphere in the American Hockey League. And we also have the WWE come by every year or so for Monday Night Raw. We've had Kevin Hart come to the Giant Center. We've had the Pentatonics. I believe Post Malone was there last year. And of course, we're only a couple minutes away from what I consider the gem of our state, and that is Hershey Park. Hershey Park is one of the best amusement parks in the country, in my opinion. And the chocolate theme is something you're going to have to experience firsthand when you visit Harrisburg. There's amazing roller coasters. We have a sweet water park, and there's tons of chocolate and food there, as you can imagine. It is really unmatched, and if you've never been to Harrisburg area, you should check it out. And definitely ride the Storm Runner when you come up here, and tell me it wasn't worth every penny. In Harrisburg, we also have some of the best 4th of July fireworks that I've ever seen. They happen right on Front Street by the river every year, and they are a really good time. Harrisburg's also home to many parks and museums and theaters that are just a lot of fun. And as a guy who lived in an area where, the most culture you got in your life was the Walmart shopping center's Chinese buffet, it is really, really cool to be able to live in an area like this with so much to do and experience. And speaking of Front Street, there is so much food to experience in the Harrisburg area. Absolutely everything you can think of, from Mediterranean food to Mexican food to Italian food. I mean, Harrisburg really offers everything. Trust me, you will never go hungry or get bored of your food options in Harrisburg. One of my absolutely favorite places up here is called Fiesta, Mexico. And it's a well-known place up here, but it is really, really good. And if you're traveling to Harrisburg, you should try it out. They have the best queso I have ever had in my entire life. And I always get the steak fajitas up there, and they are delicious. And there are things to complain about in Harrisburg, but I'm just telling you right now, food is not one of them. And the last pro I wanted to touch on today is our affordable real estate. The average price of a home in the Harrisburg area is about half of the national average. And we have a ton of great homes for those prices. You can get an absolutely amazing 3-bed, 2-bath home in the Harrisburg area, detached, for about $300,000 or less. And if you're coming from a place like Los Angeles or Las Vegas or Nashville or Seattle, that is a world of a difference. And even compared to some local places over here like Camp Hill or Mechanicsburg or Palmyra, Harrisburg has a lot better deals. And let's be honest, if you're one of the people that's already working from home, why would you want to live in one of these high-cost areas when you can live somewhere for half the cost of living and still get paid like you live in one of these big metro areas? Now, I will say this, because of our great prices and our great deals we have in Harrisburg area, there is still a lot of competition on homes. There's still multiple offers happening, at least at the time of this video here in May of 2023. So there's a lot of competition to get into Harrisburg. So you'll want to contact a local real estate pro. And again, you can text me at this number right here, and I would love to help you secure a home here in Harrisburg. Now let's talk about a few of the cons of living in Harrisburg. Because it seems like Harrisburg is always growing and rapidly expanding, the traffic is getting a little rough. I'm just going to be honest about that. Our bridges going from East Shore to West Shore, around 4 o'clock every single day, there is something crazy going on. It can be a little annoying. They're either filled up with actual traffic, or there's construction, or God forbid, there's an accident. All of that can really slow your day down if you work on the West Shore and you're coming back to the East Shore over the bridge. But if you already live in a big city, a city bigger than Harrisburg, you're probably going to laugh at me about this part because I'm sure that you are used to far worse. But you have to remember, I grew up in a town where we had more cows than people, so it's a little bit different for me. The second con of living in the Harrisburg area is the cold. Now, if you already live in the north, like Jon Snow, this might not be a big deal to you. But I was born in Arizona. I have family in the Florida area that we travel to frequently. And so living in Harrisburg, if there's one thing I could change, it would absolutely be the weather. There will be some below freezing temperatures in Harrisburg that will challenge your home's heat pump a lot. And that's just part of living up here. And a lot of people in this area actually try to become Florida snowbirds every year, where they travel from the Harrisburg airport down to the Punta Gorda airport or the Sanford airport in Orlando area. And they spend a lot of time there in January and February. So they'll hang out at Hershey Park in the summer, and then they'll hang out at, Disney World or the Universal parks in the winter. But yeah, long story short, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, it can be cold. And the last thing that is a really big challenge in the Harrisburg area is the flooding, particularly in the city. Due to being so close to the Susquehanna River, Harrisburg floods sometimes. The most recent big flood was in 2021. Now, of course, the further away from the river you are, the less of an issue this actually is. But occasionally with the heavy rain or heavy melting snow, the low-lying environment down in Harrisburg can cause it to flood. But the city has installed some flooding defenses like levees and pumps to kind of combat the flooding problem. But the possibility is still there. So in conclusion, Harrisburg is genuinely awesome. There's so much to experience and so much to love about the food and all the places to go and the proximity to all of the fun here in the central PA area. We have a low cost of living, we have an amusement park, we have the Giant Center, we have basically our own hockey team. It is a lot of fun being up here. I don't think anyone will get tired of Harrisburg, but it's not without its faults. But in my opinion, the good far outweighs the bad. And if you're interested in moving to Harrisburg, here's my information one more time. You can call me or text me at this number anytime. I'd love to talk to you about Harrisburg real estate or just what it's like to live up here in general. Also, if you'd like my 10 steps to home ownership, it's a free guide. I'll send it over to your email immediately, and it'll help you figure out exactly how this home buying process works. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.